Hello and welcome to the Farmer's Kitchen. We're the farmers, and this is our kitchen.
That's right.
You know, a lot of people say, well, is this your kitchen or is that a set? It's not a set, this is our kitchen. It's where we cook, that's where we eat.
That's right.
And we have a whole lot of fun. Now, we try to buy stuff when it's on sale if we don't raise it and butcher it ourselves. Recently, we found some short ribs for sale.
Yes, we did.
That was after the holidays, and stuff is expensive nowadays. Beef is really expensive nowadays, so we're gonna butcher another calf here before long. But we found these in the store, they were on sale.
They were.
So not too long ago, we took our cameras and we went to the place where they process our beef, and we found out exactly where the short ribs came from.
Yes.
Take a look at this.
Yeah, this is kind of the priced portion of the beef here. We have the short ribs, and then we have the prime rib. We can cut it into rib eyes. We can do bone-in rib roast, tomahawk steaks, whatever you want.
Just put that in my truck.
We'll carry it on out for you. So when we look at the rib section here, we have the rib eye, which you can see the eye of the rib eye there. And this would be, we'll remove the chine, and we'll make this a boneless rib eye, and we'll cut it into steaks. So he's cutting the short ribs right now. We're cutting them into 4-inch pieces. And we have our short ribs here. Mark's gonna cut these between the bones to make nice portions for restaurants and retail buyers so that they can sell them. And it's another great braising meat.
Now, when we have our ribeye, a lot of times it'll say bone in. You can just cut right down that ribeye, and you can have, a lot of people call those back ribs on the upper side of it. We had those not too long ago.
Yummy.
And it was really, really good,
It
wasn't
was good, really good.
So, not too long ago, I made some hot German potato salad.
So good.
So we're gonna do a little German cooking tonight with a German flair. We're gonna do beef ribs instead of pork, because that's what we've got, that's on sale. And I guess we should go ahead and get that started. Now, we're starting with already processed sauerkraut. This is not just cabbage, this is sauerkraut that is already aged, and it's got lots of probiotics, and it's very good for you. You are a sauerkraut fan. You're not like waving a flag or anything, but you like it.
I'll eat it, but not like, I don't love it like you do.
Yeah, but how did you like it this
That
way?
was amazing.
She really likes it with beef. Now, these are so meaty. I want you to take a look at all the meat on here. So look at the meat. Look at all the meat. There's some fat, and the bone is in it. What does that mean?
What does it mean?
Flavor.
Yes.
Lots and lots and lots of flavor. So we're going to take a little olive oil. If you see us using oil, most of the time it's not going to be vegetable oil or canola oil. Do your research on that. It's something we won't be using very much. If you see us using oil, for the most part, it's going to be olive oil. So we're putting a little bit of oil on these, so we'll have a surface that will pick up and hold our kosher salt. Now, I really like kosher salt. I like the consistency of it.
I do too.
We're cooking, and we're going to take some pepper, of course, and we're going to very generously season these. Now, look again at the fat, look again at the meat, and think about where this came from. And these look mighty delicious.
They look very meaty.
Look very meaty.
Yes, I like that.
And that's why we like them, because Nikki likes her Sunday roast.
I do. It's my favorite.
So you've got that kind of consistency.
It
When
was.
you cook these, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna heat this up. Now after we cook these, after we brown these, we're gonna leave that in there. This is a one-pan thing. You like that, don't you, the one-pan thing?
I love that. Easy for cleanup.
How much do you like it?
A lot.
Show me your I like it. Like.
I like it a lot. Yummy.
So we're gonna take these, and we're just gonna brown them just a little bit. I'm gonna hit every side of that. I'm gonna render some of that fat out. And again, when these cook down, the bones are gonna pretty much come out of them. But that bone, as it cooks in there, does that not impart some beautiful flavor? We've talked about bone broth. We've even made our own bone broth on the show. So again, I'm rendering just a little bit of fat down here. But the rest of this is relatively easy once you get your meat browned a little bit. And again, I don't want to cook it too much. I just want to brown it on each side. And again, this is fermented kraut right out of the jar. And if you'll remember, Remember Lois making her 1 jar at a time?
Yes.
Here's a little shot of Lois making her 1 jar at a time sauerkraut. You can't beat sauerkraut. Now I'm gonna turn that down for just a second. Let that cool down just a little bit because I don't want to splash all over. I'm gonna go ahead and put in a little bit of beer. Now, in this recipe, hi everybody. In this recipe, I'm gonna put a little bit of beer, 3/4 of a beer, let's say. So that's what I'm gonna put in here. It's a light.
What kind of beer?
It's a light beer.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
You read my mind because I was just coming out of my mouth. This is a light beer. Now you could use a dark beer. I prefer the color and the taste of a light beer. I've used German beer. I've used all kinds of stuff. Now that's about 32 ounces of kraut. Now I could eat that just like that.
I know you could.
But there's some flavors that really enhance. And a lot of people will agree with me here. There's some caraway seed.
Oh yeah.
That's probably 1/2 teaspoon. I like a lot. I love the flavor. And I'm gonna put some black pepper. I like me some black pepper. We're just gonna lay the apples and the onions on the top. We're gonna cook this 350 for about 2.5 hours. And we're gonna take an onion and just cut real thin onion rings. And we'll cut those in half. Those apples and onions will settle into that. You need a little bit of sweet to me. Some put brown sugar. Now you could sweeten it up a little bit if you like to do that. I like mine tart. And we're gonna spread these out evenly across the top. These will cook in there and give it a nice sweet taste. That's another sweetening agent that I like to use in my sauerkraut. The onions will really sweeten that up. Now, if you wanted to come back and put some kind of seasoning in here on your beef, other than just the salt and pepper, you could.
Oh, these are amazing.
I don't think it needs
you need
anything.
I don't think you
We
need it.
salt and peppered accordingly. Now, what happens too as this cooks, that fat,
The juice, yeah.
along with the bone, the taste of that bone, and the marrow in there, just adds so much. And again, 350, about 2.5 hours, and this will be done. I think that 3/4 of a beer is just enough moisture. It's going to cook down.
Right.
You don't want it soggy. And this is a good crock pot recipe too. But a lot of times if you take that kraut and you go 4 or 5 hours, it really cooks it down into
Yeah.
nothing. I prefer the oven method with the Dutch oven.
Right.
We're going to cover it. Let's set that in the oven, 2.5 hours, 350, and we're good to go. So you had a great grandmother that was German. I had
Yes.
a great great grandmother that was German. Mom said she used to smoke a pipe.
Really? Doesn't surprise me. Mine was pretty rough too. I don't know.
Probably was one of those big Black Forest pipes like carved out. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it was.
Mine was scary. I thought my great grandma was scary, but I wouldn't go there.
Well, anyhow, they brought some wonderful things to this country. As we travel up around Cincinnati, there's a lot of German influence in the food up there. Hot potato salad, absolutely wonderful, especially
Yes.
this time of year.
Yes.
Now, this may not be the way that you make it, but this is the way that we like it.
Yes.
And it's got a little twist in it that some friends of mine like very well. We're going to start off with bacon. Now, this is not our bacon because our bacon would be much thicker.
That's right.
And about time to do some more bacon.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to make our bacon, and we're going to use our bacon grease
Yummy.
for our onions. Once we get this fried up real good, we're going to set that aside and put our sweet yellow onion in there. Now you notice when we cook, we use a lot of sweet yellow onions. Now I can't eat raw onions very well. If we did, we'd use more of a red onion. The old indigestion thing, man, I can't handle onions anymore raw.
I
Can you?
know, me either. I love them.
Now we've got a medium-sized yellow onion here. We don't need a huge amount, about 1/2 cup. And we're making just enough. We can eat a lot of this, just enough for us for a couple days. I'm gonna chop up that 1/2 onion. That'll do.
How's that? Is that enough onion?
All right, so Nikki and myself are big fans of red skin potatoes.
Yes, we are.
They have very thin skins, and I like with skin on.
I do too.
You can make mashed potatoes with skin on.
It's good for you.
These we thought about ahead of time. We knew what we were doing, so what'd you do there?
I actually boil these. I have about 12 potatoes there. I don't know how many you need. I boil them like you normally would, and have them so I can just cut them into pieces for us.
And they've been sitting a while. Where they been?
I put them in the fridge after they set out. Just let them chill a little bit so they're ready to cut.
Those are cool potatoes.
Cool
right
potatoes.
there. All right, so I'm gonna take this beautiful, wonderful bacon,
I'll try not to eat it when it's sitting here.
set it aside. All right, were these sitting aside?
These were setting aside. I set everything aside.
All right, if you will, take your hands and scoop that out. Look at that.
Yummy. Is that enough?
All right, so now with this recipe, which is coming together rather quickly, once these onions get a little brown, all right, there's a dry mix, and then we have some wet stuff. We're gonna make a roux to begin with. In that roux, I've pre-mixed this into 1.5 tablespoons of flour, 1.5 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of celery seed, and some black pepper. We'll probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. Now, as far as the wet ingredients, using 1/2 cup of chicken broth and 1/3 cup of vinegar. We're just gonna use white vinegar. So our onions are about where they need to be. Does that make you happy?
It does make me very
Let me
happy.
see your happy look.
I know what's coming.
Let me see. Let's see my happy look.
Yes. That doesn't look happy. That looks silly.
Oh. All right, here comes my dry ingredients. This is coming together pretty quick.
Yes.
So I'm gonna put this in, I'm gonna thicken it up.
So you're making a roux.
I'm making a type of roux here. So I'm gonna let that come together about a minute, and I think we're about there. Then I come back with my wet ingredients, my chicken broth, and my vinegar,
Yummy.
and I think about a tablespoon of some quality sweet stone ground mustard.
Yes.
Really adds, when you get the bacon grease, think about this, bacon grease, and it's a little bit spicy and a little bit sweet. You add all those flavors together with your onions. You see that magic along with that vinegar, the tart?
Yes, I love it.
Now this is our recipe. This is the way people in our family made this. Look how it's thickening right there.
Yeah.
If your family didn't make it this way, that doesn't mean we're wrong. That doesn't mean you're wrong. That means this is just the way, I like it. In the words of Casey and the Sunshine Band.
That's right.
Who was a philosopher
Oh, really?
back in the 70s, yeah. Now we kind of took the scrapings off the bottom. We used every bit of it. When that has thickened up about like that, we're gonna drop some potatoes in here.
Let me know how many you think you need. Keep going?
Yep. Oh, I wish you could smell this. When you have bacon, that was thick sliced bacon, not as thick as ours, but thick sliced bacon and onions, and you got that celery seed and the vinegar, and you've got this tart, sweet, wonderful thing going on.
Can't go wrong.
Oh, now let's drop the bacon. Oh, that won't make it any worse. Let's pop that in there.
Wow.
Look at that.
Yes.
That is our beautiful finished potato salad.
I should probably taste it.
You probably should, but you know what? We do need to pull that out. It's time.
Okay.
Let's get that out and set them side by side and take a look.
Okay.
All right, now let's take a look at what we've got here. Now I'm gonna just get one piece out before I put the kraut down. You can see, bone comes out.
That looks so
And that's one of the smaller pieces. We're gonna take our kraut out. Now look at that kraut.
Wow.
Oh me, oh my. Now look at that. Look at that little
delicious.
roux in there. Smell it. It's tart and it's sweet. And what are your thoughts?
I can't wait. Can I try some?
You can try as much as you like. You love meat like that, don't you? You love the roast.
That's better than a roast. That's like between a roast and prime rib. Does that make sense?
You know what? You're right.
It's like right in the middle.
It's from
Wow.
a roast and a standing
That's
corn.
true.
Now let's try our sauerkraut.
That's really good.
My favorite part. Oh, that meat though is ridiculous.
That's good. It's got the taste of that in it too. Yummy.
Now sauerkraut, you notice I put no salt in it. I let the salt from the meat do that. You got a little bit of salty, you got a little bit peppery.
Flavored it nice.
And
the
that
meat.
beer was nice and mild, and the onions and the apples were sweet. So it's got that
really
perfect balance.
It's delicious.
All right, taste of it.
That is so good. That's a good hot potatoes. It's got like the vinegary taste and it makes it delicious.
Isn't that nice? You got,
it's so
you got a little bit of the
delicious.
sweet.
Yeah, that's good.
I gotta get a bowl of that.
Now, did yourself wonderful.
And when I say bowl, I mean big bowl.
I bet you could.
We're not done. Daddy had a birthday. And when we were kids, he'd always hijack the birthday process. Mom made this chocolate cake, which is yet to be copied exactly.
That's right.
So you're a baker, and I set you on a task. She made a homemade chocolate cake. It was rather dense in the middle.
Kind of like between fudge.
It was homemade, it was from scratch.
Homemade.
And her icing was almost
Debbie gave me the icing.
fudgy.
Your sister.
Debbie's got the icing
Yes,
recipe.
right.
So we went to great lengths to reproduce that. Daddy would hijack the birthday party process. Back when Mom said, what kind of cake do you want? He'd come up and say, you want Mom's chocolate cake with chocolate.
Because he wanted it.
Yeah, so
That's
we
right.
always had it. And let me tell you what, we loved it.
Yes.
You did a job on that.
You liked it? Oh. And I gave your dad the rest of the cake the other night, so we needed to make more, didn't we?
It's delicious. Let's finish this.
Okay.
Let's talk about dessert in a minute. Somebody in the United States, I guarantee you, is having a birthday today. So in honor of them,
Right.
we should probably make this.
Right. You need something sweet after that meal, just to
There's a
calm
little
you
bit
down.
of sugar in
That's
here.
right. You know, I'm used to making wedding cakes that were like lighter and fluffy, where this was really dense, so it was different for me. It's so thick, it's like a brownie. I can see why when we made it the other night, your whole family sat there quietly and ate half the cake. So everybody loves that cake, don't they?
And Dad took it home. I
He did.
guarantee
It's gone.
he's working on it.
Well, that's why you said we need to make it again, because you want one here.
Now let's talk about this. This is not brand new from the store.
40 years old.
40 years old.
That's why it's missing pieces, but Mom got me this when I was 18, so I just told my age. And I love it. You said, do you want a new one? I'm like, no, this is mine that I love.
Let's make this because I want this in my belly.
All right, well, I tried to talk to your mom a little bit. She hadn't found her recipe. She said I did okay. So, and we're making a smaller cake because we've already had a big one. So this is kind of a half recipe. I have 6 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna start with that.
You know the fun part about this is when you're making recipes and you're trying to get there, there's a lot of cake sitting around
That's
right
right,
now.
you get to eat a lot.
That's right.
And I let that get room temperature.
All right?
All right, now I have got a cup of sugar. There's a lot of sugar in this, but that's what makes
It's
it good.
cake.
That's right. I'm gonna put a whole cup of sugar in here. I'm gonna let that go a little bit more here. All right.
You know, this gets crazy here in a little while.
It will.
Stuff's flying
If
everywhere.
it does, I have a towel. I'm gonna try to cover it because I know you don't like when the dust flies. And when you make cakes, powdered sugar is everywhere. I have 2 eggs. First egg, we'll put them in one at a time.
And the 2.
Cool. Let's let that get all mixed up together. Okay.
What's next?
Now we're ready. Now I have got a cup of flour here,
Gotcha.
and I have got 6 tablespoons of cocoa. So we're gonna put that together.
I remember Mom telling me that doesn't taste good to me. I said, no, it smells good. And taking a little teaspoon of
It's
it.
wonderful. All right, in this bowl I have half a teaspoon baking powder, half a teaspoon baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So see, I'm gonna get, this is all my dry stuff together.
It's science.
Yes. So this, I'm hoping this doesn't get too messy. We'll just be, in fact, let me grab a spoon. Sometimes that helps. So I'm gonna try
That's
to.
why you lay the towel up here when you.
Sometimes I do, but you know what? Let's see how we do. Let's see if it goes crazy. Oh, it didn't do too bad.
And stand back.
That's right. You know, I'm gonna stop it in between because then it won't flip all over. That'll make you happy, won't it? It doesn't blow in your face.
When we lived in Maysville, Kentucky, that's one of the memories that I have was the smell of that when she was cooking a cake. Oh, and it was special occasions, you know. And,
Now you want it every week, right?
Oh yeah, why not? We've got it down now. And for those of you who bake, again, this is not a mix. This is all from scratch.
Okay, we're getting there. This is 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. We're gonna add that in. And now I have 3/4 of a cup. This is half and half. I think your mom said she might have used buttermilk. She wasn't sure, but we're gonna do the half and half.
Or you could use heavy cream too.
Yes, you could. All good? Look how nice and creamy that looks.
Oh, the kids talk about you made icing so much that they almost got sick of licking the
Yeah.
frosting off.
They used to sit on the floor when I was making icing, and they knew if they lined up, they got beaters and they got bowls full. They just sit and wait. I scored it in the round. See, is that bad?
Man,
That look good?
man,
There's
look
our
at that. Now
batter.
that's the real deal. That's no cake mix out of a box.
Right. And all I've done was sprayed this with a little bit of cooking oil. And some people flour them, but I'm just gonna,
Now this is a half recipe basically, right?
Yes, this
'Cause
is
you
a
made
half.
a big one the other day.
yes.
So that's enough for me.
Right, that'll just get, that's one setting for you. I don't want to miss any of this.
No, you don't. That's good stuff.
Yes. We are going to cook this at 350 for 40 minutes. And it's a little denser cake, so sometimes they fall in the middle. You could cook it a little longer if you want it to stay, but once we ice it, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, I think you ought to leave it just a little bit gooey in the middle.
That's what I'm thinking too. Take it out a little early. All right. Took our cake out.
Took our cake out, let it cool. I see butter in there.
Yes, because last night when I did another cake, I did it hot, and that worked too, but it kind of melted everywhere, so we let it cool.
Yeah, you gotta let
So-
it cool down before you
Yeah.
put the icing on.
All right.
This doesn't have anything sweet in it, does it?
No, this one's really simple. No real sugar, just powdered, but that's real sugar. I have a whole stick of butter here, which is half a cup. We're gonna cream that. Now this will get messy. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna stand back.
I'm gonna try to cover with a towel like I used to do to hold back some of it, but we'll see what happens. All right, I got my butter good. I'm gonna go in between just like last time because this will go all over the kitchen. Powdered sugar likes to. And I have 3 cups of powdered sugar
This looks
here.
like a scene out of Scarface.
Yes, it does. I got that. I got a little bit of cocoa. We'll throw a little cocoa in there. I have 3/4 of a cup of cocoa. And I got 1/3 of a cup of whipping cream. So we're just I'm gonna put a little bit of everything in.
That's why that icing tastes so good.
Yes.
It's rich.
I have a 1.5 teaspoons of my vanilla. And I'm just gonna try to put them all. Sometimes I like to do the butter and all the sugar, but it makes a mess. We're gonna try to do this. This is what I used to try to do, to try to make it.
I'm gonna stand back so I can get white long.
See it poofing underneath?
This makes me very happy.
I'm glad you didn't come in until we cleaned up. It was really bad in here.
Does it look like the last scene of Scarface?
You walked out for a minute, so that was good. Do you want to try it, make sure it tastes good? I did finger
Oh,
it.
I think
Believe
I'll
me.
wait till I get some of the cake. I already know.
You believe me?
I've been eating pounds of this stuff. You know, one thing we do is when we make a recipe, a lot of times it's something we haven't done for years, and we'll run through it just to make sure. So
So you get to eat it.
there's several of these cakes sitting around right now. Which maybe that's why my belly's sticking out.
And now another one.
Now, I don't know, I was just thinking that since you had to buy this sauerkraut and short ribs, that
Yeah.
maybe I could go first.
No. I mean, yes, you can.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Does it make you happy? Does it make you happy? That's like eating fudge.
Oh,
Can I try a little?
you know, it cracks me up. Most people know us that watch our show, but we have some new folks out there on social media. I can't believe they're eating off the same plate. Well, you know what? One time, way back, it was probably in the 80s, if that freaks you out, she kissed me right on the mouth.
What?
I called the police.
Do we
I
have
filed a
pictures?
report. They didn't do anything.
So we can't do
So
it.
I guess if we kissed on the lips back in the 80s,
We can share.
we can eat cake after each
Okay.
other. I'm gonna have
Oh,
one
that's-
bite. Look at that, look at that, look at that.
You're going to eat this whole cake, aren't you? He will sit down with a spoon and eat the cake.
That's just beautiful.
So it's close to your mom's, I hope?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
You know, food is memories. Now that is not gonna heal you from any horrible disease, and it's probably not the most healthy thing in the world, but every now and then you gotta splurge.
It makes you happy.
That's beautiful.
I'm glad you like it.
Oh, the memories just come flooding back.
That's right.
Of being an exuberant youth.
That's right.
And you know what? I remember half an hour ago this show just started. Believe
That's
it or
right.
not, it's over. Except for me eating the rest of that piece and probably about that one.
You probably give me this and I'll give you a spoon.
I'd say that.
That's
that'd
probably going to work.
But you know, people might be saying this. They're saying, how could we get those recipes? And you would say,
TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com.
where we go sometimes because we forget
That's right. I
how
do.
we make things from week to week.
I do.
Used to we didn't measure, but Kelly makes us.
I like that she does that.
Also, if you haven't joined us on Facebook, we do have a Facebook page. Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen, amazingly enough, is the name of that. And it's difficult, though, to get on there. How would you
It
do
is.
that?
You hit like.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we'd like to see you over there. And again, I cannot quit looking at that cake, and it cannot quit looking at me, so I'm going to have to eat it.
Okay, you can.
That being said, it's all about
Good times.
good friends.
and really good eats.
We'll see you next week on a brand new Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen.
Eat up.
Can I just have a spoon?
I'll get you a big spoon.
All right.